Have you heard about the Buddhist tradition of putting salt in your shoes? Do you know the exact purpose of this ancient practice rooted in Buddhist wisdom and Eastern medicine? Salt is known for its many uses beyond cooking. You've likely tried several thanks to kitchen advice from elders. It's a powerful ally, and according to recent research, isn't the main cause of high blood pressure. Its benefits extend beyond this. Salt is valuable for household cleaning, helping to purify and sanitize. As a saline solution, it's effective for disinfecting wounds and skin abrasions, and serves as an exfoliant, anti-dandruff treatment, bath additive, and more. Yet few realize that for Buddhists, placing salt in shoes holds deep spiritual and medical significance. As we'll explore in the Zen story coming up, stay tuned to discover 5 compelling reasons to try it yourself. Stick around until the end for a revelation that will leave you amazed. And before we continue, if you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications for updates on our latest content. In the heart of a valley surrounded by the mystical aura of the Japanese mountains stood an ancient Buddhist monastery, guardian of age-old wisdom and a place of refuge for those seeking inner peace. In this place, where time seemed to have stopped, lived the elderly and venerated monk Makoto, whose wisdom and profound understanding of the ways of Buddhism and Oriental medicine shone like the light of a candle in the night. One morning, as the golden rays of the sun filtered through the branches of the trees, Makoto gathered his disciples in the monastery cloister for one of the usual lessons. With a serene expression, he invited them to sit in a circle around him and began to speak in a warm and reassuring voice. Every step we take on the path of life is a sacred journey, the monk began, a path that leads us to knowledge of ourselves and the universe that surrounds us. Just as when facing a long and tiring journey, it is necessary to prepare adequately, so also in our earthly existence we must be ready to face the challenges that await us. The disciples listened, enraptured by their master's words. When Makoto mentioned the ancient custom of putting salt in shoes, their minds opened to the wonder of a tradition as ancient as it was mysterious. This practice, Makoto continued, has roots that go back to the remotest past, when our ancestors walked through wild and impervious lands. In those distant times, salt was not just a condiment to enrich foods, but a precious commodity, a symbol of purity and protection. The senior monk took a moment's pause, letting the words settle like delicate sand in the minds of his disciples, and then continued, I will now explain to you the 5 main reasons why the practice of putting salt in your shoes is so significant and important for our spiritual path and for our health in general. First, Makoto said, salt has the power to absorb moisture, just as the Buddha absorbed the suffering of the world. When we put salt in our shoes, it helps us keep our steps light and agile. In Buddhist practice, humidity is often associated with the heaviness of worries and suffering that we carry with us along the path of life. Just as the weight of water filling our shoes in the rain slows and weighs down our pace, so the worries and tensions of the mind can hinder our progress towards inner peace and enlightenment. Putting salt in your shoes symbolizes the desire to free yourself from this burden, to let go of worries and to maintain a lightness of spirit despite the challenges encountered along the way. Salt acts as an absorbent of these worries, allowing our steps to remain light and agile as we proceed in our search for inner peace and wisdom. To enhance the meaning of this aspect, Makoto told them the story of an old fisherman who, during a storm, had saved his boat from breaking thanks to a bag of salt that he had thrown on the deck to absorb the water. The second reason to put salt in your shoes, Makoto continued, is that salt has purifying properties. By assimilating impurities, salt purifies our path, freeing it from harmful influences and spiritual obstacles. Putting salt in our shoes, therefore, is a way to protect our mind and spirit from the deceptions and temptations of the outside world. To better explain this idea, the monk shared with his disciples the story of a traveler who, during his journey, had encountered a river infested with evil spirits. Thanks to the salt in his shoes, he was able to cross the river unscathed, protecting his mind and spirit from negative influences. The third reason, Makoto continued, is that salt helps us maintain balance. Just as the mountains that surround us are symbols of stability and strength, putting salt in our shoes also helps us to root ourselves in the earth and to remain steadfast in the face of the storms of life. The mountains surrounding the monastery represent the image of stability and strength, said the monk. Just as these towering rock formations remain steadfast even in the face of the most violent storms, so we too must learn to maintain our inner stability as we face life's challenges. Putting salt in your shoes symbolizes this balance. The salt, in fact, acts as an anchor for our steps, stabilizing them and preventing unwanted falls along our path. When we walk with salted shoes, we feel more solid and rooted to the ground, as if we have a deep connection with the earth itself. This balance not only affects the body but also the mind and spirit. Therefore, following this practice is an invitation to find the right balance between the different dimensions of our existence, between work and rest, between action and contemplation, between joy and sadness, between good and evil. When we manage to maintain this balance, we can face life's challenges with serenity and determination without being shaken by the ups and downs we encounter along the spiritual path. To make the concept clearer, Makoto told them the story of a young monk who, during meditation on the banks of a stormy mountain stream, had found perfect balance thanks to the salt he brought with him. As the disciples became more and more involved with the stories of their spiritual guide, Makoto continued with the fourth reason. Salt also has healing properties. In Oriental medicine, salt is considered a natural remedy to relieve pain and tension. Putting salt in your shoes can soothe not only the physical discomforts but also the mental ones that we encounter along our spiritual path. To demonstrate this idea, the monk shared with his disciples the story of a farmer who, suffering from an open wound on his foot, had found relief by immersing his foot in a saline solution. Continuing with the fifth reason, Makoto talked about how putting salt in your shoes was a gesture of gratitude. Salt is a precious gift from the earth, and using it mindfully reminds us to be grateful for all that life offers us, both the joys and the challenges, said the master. The disciples listened to Makoto's words with deep reverence, grasping the wisdom behind that seemingly simple gesture, but the monk wasn't finished yet. Looking his disciples straight in the eyes, he added, "My dears, there is a reason linked to this practice that I wanted to leave until last due to its importance. Putting salt in your shoes is a rite of passage that connects us to past generations and all the people who have walked this earth before us. Every grain of salt represents their stories, their challenges, and their victories. When we put salt in our shoes, we join an eternal bond of wisdom and resilience that crosses time and space, transmitting their spirit and strength in our footsteps." Faced with this revelation, the disciples were speechless, contemplating the depth of this apparently simple gesture. They understood that for Makoto, salt in shoes was not just an ancient practice or a symbol of protection and purification, but a connection to humanity itself and all the lives that have passed before them. Have you ever had the problem of sleeping in one position rather than another? Some people sleep on their stomachs, some on their right side, and some on their left side. Then there are those who love to do it curled up in a fetal position, and those who sleep on their backs. Again, there are those who love wearing pajamas and those who don't. There are those who love having blankets on and those who want to feel free. Well, just as each person's sleeping habits reflect their unique needs and comfort, the practice of putting salt in shoes is a reflection of the individual's journey and the wisdom they seek. It's a simple act that holds profound meaning, connecting us to traditions and teachings that transcend time. Makoto's teachings on this day left a lasting impact on his disciples. As they went about their daily routines, they found themselves reflecting on the stories and lessons shared by their venerable master. The act of putting salt in their shoes became a daily ritual, a moment of mindfulness that reminded them of the 5 profound reasons Makoto had outlined. First, they felt the lightness of their steps, a reminder to release their worries and walk with a light spirit. Second, they appreciated the purifying properties of salt, protecting their minds from negative influences. Third, they experienced a sense of balance and stability, grounding themselves in the present moment. Fourth, they found relief from both physical and mental discomforts, embracing the healing power of salt. Finally, they felt a deep sense of gratitude for the wisdom passed down through generations. This practice also served as a daily connection to their ancestors and the countless individuals who had walked the path before them. Every grain of salt in their shoes was a symbol of the shared human experience, the challenges overcome, and the resilience that continues to guide us. As you consider incorporating this ancient tradition into your own life, remember that it's not just about the physical act of placing salt in your shoes. It's about embracing the deeper meanings and lessons behind it. It's about walking lightly, staying pure, maintaining balance, healing, and being grateful. These principles can guide you on your journey, helping you navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. So, why not give it a try? Add a pinch of salt to your shoes and see how it transforms your steps and your perspective. Embrace this simple yet profound practice and let it remind you of the wisdom that has been passed down through the ages. Whether you're seeking inner peace, protection, balance, healing, or gratitude, this ancient tradition can be a powerful ally on your path. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Buddhist wisdom. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from this practice. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, may your steps be light and your journey be filled with peace and wisdom.